Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Welcome back to the NWR Virtual Healthcare Conference. On the call today, we've got Bioactive Natural Health co-founder and CEO Rick Ferdinands and Executive Director and Chief Growth Officer of the company, Owen Byrne. I'll pass you across in a minute to Owen to kick off our discussion of Bioactive Natural Health and its lead product, Hey Sister, which is a fast-acting and fast-selling natural plant-based pain relief product for women. Today we'll have a presentation from Rick and Owen, followed by an opportunity for Q&A. If you would like to ask a question during our call, please type it into the Q&A panel within the Zoom app. So to kick things off, I'll hand over now to Bioactive Natural Health Executive Director, Owen Byrne. Go ahead, Owen.
Cool, thanks, Tim, and welcome everybody, and appreciate everyone's time dialing in. So my name is Owen Byrne. I'm going to walk you through a bit about Bioactive and what we've been doing for the past year. It's quite exciting. So first of all, Bioactive Natural Health is an Australian biotech company that's pioneering evidence-based phytomedicines or plant-based medicines. We have a robust IP portfolio, regulatory approvals, and an active clinical trial program that Rick will talk through in a few slides' time. We're advancing a new era of plant-based therapeutics. At the forefront of our research and innovation is a product called Capragesic, and this is our IP and our flagship product. It's a breakthrough plant-based pain reliever derived from Kaya seneglensis tree. So we have a plantation in the far north of Western Australia, and it's a certified organic plantation. We'll talk a bit more about that as well. So unlike conventional painkillers, Capragesic offers a clinically proven fast-acting solution for severe period pain and PMS symptoms, addressing both the physiological and the psychological distress, which is a unique distinction in the market. So a recent clinical trial that was randomized, double-blind, and placebo-controlled, the three key properties of our product, Capragesic, were anti-inflammatory, antioxidants, and prebiotic effects. This helped significantly reduce the need for conventional drug treatments. We have a mechanism of action evidence and a comprehensive regulatory dossier. So our Capragesic is primed for the global pharmaceutical licensing, targeting the $81 billion pain market with a differentiated clinically backed solution. Following this TGA approval, we've already commercialized our innovation through Hey Sister. Hey Sister is our wholly owned consumer brand. Hey Sister is now available in 500 plus pharmacies across Australia with strong sell-through and rapid expansion. We also have high D2C repeat customer purchases via our website, providing a demand for our products in the market. As you can see on the right side of the screen, we have Bioactive Natural Health, which is the mothership business, and then we have Capragesic, our ingredient, and Hey Sister, our consumer brand. So our team has dedicated 10 years and over $5 million to research and develop Capragesic. Just to reiterate the point, it's a fast-acting, low-dose solution for period pain, menopause, and perimenopause symptoms, but it has the bioavailability comparable to over-the-counter drugs without the side effects. The key actions of our ingredient and of our IP is that it's a COX-2 inhibitor, so it works on the COX-2 pathway to reduce inflammation. It also is an analgesic, so it works on that opioid receptor to reduce pain. It also has high polyphenol count, which are antioxidants, which work symbiotically with the prebiotic polysaccharides to create really good gut environment and helps with period pain and managing the mood. I'll hand you over now to Rick to talk through our breakthrough clinical trial results.
Yeah, thanks, Owen. Look, the synergistic mechanisms in Capragesic are quite remarkable, and we had a lot of anecdotal evidence from customers, but also we've been running observational trials. The results have been so unbelievable that we decided to put a gold standard randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial together. Now, the results of this, as you can see on the slide, even blew us away. The participants in this, and it was run by Clinical Research Australia, a totally independent trial. Participants were females aged between 18 and 50, and the criteria was that they needed to have severe period pain, but otherwise healthy individuals. Which in the marketplace today, there's more than half of the women take pain medication every month. So as you can see, between caprogesic and the placebo, 136% improvement in severe pain. But one of the surprise things was, and anecdotally, a lot of women have been telling us, their PMS symptoms have disappeared as well. And this is the first time that we could actually measure that. So the psychological symptoms and the PMS symptoms improved versus a placebo by 196%, so nearly 200% improvement. You can see that on the graph on the right-hand side. One of the other key features of it was that the pain drug usage was reduced by 90%. Now, the significance of that is that, we have a lot of women giving us feedback, and some of them were telling us, and, I'm a guy, so was Owen, we didn't know a lot of these things. Some women go to emergency every month because they're bleeding, they're throwing up blood. And what that is a lot of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are causing ulcers and lesions every month for these women. And they're basically saying, you've changed our lives. Anyway, look, we've actually got a clinical trial insight document that you can have a look at later. I'll hand you back to Owen to continue the presentation.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks.
As part of our defensible IP, obviously heavily involved in that is these clinical trial results. So we're TGA approved. We are FDA ready. We're about to launch in the States coming up in August, and we'll talk through that a bit later on. We have a ton of clinical safety and efficacy IP, and obviously strong safety and regulatory safety and efficacy IP, and obviously our brand position is quite strong with a first to market advantage. Our WA plantation, okay, we're a carbon positive business. So we have a cornered resource with exclusive use that can do global volumes that's certified organic. We've created some harvest technology to harvest the bark off our medicinal trees without killing the tree. So the plantation is fully sustainable. We can do about $45 million reoccurring per year from the current bark we have on site without replanting new trees, which we have space for. We also have some really interesting production technology. We have 11 listed TGA medicines now on the TGA, and we also have some specialized processing equipment. The last 12 months. So over 12 months ago, we closed our first seed round. We strengthened our team. We set up our e-commerce platforms. There was some production run. We made some inventory. We launched our direct-to-consumer channel a year ago today. We also visited the US, did some market research, and in May, June, we launched our B2B to the pharmacy channel. We've been increasing our market share, kicked off our clinical trials in May, launched 8 new products for the Terry White Chemmart launch, which was in December. So a busy 12 months. The next 12 months, we're going to close our Series A round. We've already secured over 50% of the round placement has been placed already. Our clinical trials are published, so we're ahead of schedule there. We've just launched with Oborn, which is our health food channel. We're in negotiations at the moment, launching with API, which is our Priceline launch into pharmacy. Next month, we'll hit 500 distribution points across Australia. We're looking obviously to launch into beauty via Mecca and Adore Beauty, that channel. And we're visiting America again in August. We've been speaking to brands like Whole Foods, Air One, Sprouts, GNC about stocking our product in store, and there's a lot of excitement around that. The plan is to go to the States, come back with some MOUs, and then raise some money for the US launch in about 12 months' time. We're planning to raise $2 million on this round. We've already secured 1.2. Use of funds, okay, sorry, it's 2 million at a pre-money valuation of 12, and this is to accelerate our growth. So the majority of this money is going to be spent in marketing of our Hey Sister brand. There is obviously we're going to bolster our team. There's some R&D, and we also need to advance our production facility so we can put some more throughput. This is our team. So Bioactive has a board of directors, including Rick, myself, and Jeff Leach. There's some more information on the next slides about the team. We have an advisory board for caprogesic, which includes Rick, and we also have a range of consultants that have been helping develop the product. The Hey Sister leadership team consists of myself and an amazing group of women that are on a purpose to solve this problem. That's Sally Parker, Jade Walker, and Tash. And then we have a really good, strong female advisory board that are well equipped to handle the next 12 months. I'll send this slide deck through if you haven't got it, so you can sort of research all the team, but everyone has a track record of success. As you can see, strong female-led company, even our operational team is all female. So introducing Hey Sister. So this is Bioactive's consumer brand. What's the problem? It's time to empower 3 billion women. So every month, 1.3 billion women are seeking pain relief for period pain. And right now, 1.8 billion women are experiencing menopause and seeking release for the symptoms. I want to introduce the world's first plant-based, fast-acting pain reliever for women. So this is Australian made and grown, and it's natural, drug-free period pain relief. So I think Rick spoke about it before, but 30% of all women on the planet take painkillers each month for period pain. And I don't know if you've been into a pharmacy lately to see what's on the shelf and what's on offer, but it's a very underserviced industry where there may only be 3 items that a female could buy to help them with their menstrual health. And most of those products are sort of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories that have severe side effects. Our product range. So we kicked off this year with what we called our OG, our original product, which is the 3 items at the bottom. We launched that into market via our website. And then in consultation with Terry White Chemmart, after our trip over to California with them, we've formulated a new range from teen period to period through to perimenopause to menopause, all with our key flagship caprogesic ingredient, but with other nutrients that are essential during that phase of a woman's life. We have hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews, and we're changing people's lives. So if you Google Hey Sister reviews, you can scroll through them, and these are third-party verified reviews. Our D2C strategy. So we have a direct-to-consumer strategy to prove the market. And over the last few months, we've been focusing on that. All the results so far has all been from our period products. We've been heavily focused on that, running campaigns on the Meta platform. Our B2B channel partner roadmap. So in the last 6 months, we've onboarded 3 of the 4 national pharmacy wholesalers, being CH2, Sigma, and Symbion. And that, right now we're at 350 distribution points, but Terry White's putting us into another 250 stores as of next month. We've planned to roll out with Oborn, and we've just put our first catalog in with Oborn, so we're ahead of schedule there. And obviously, I discussed API and Priceline, which is the next cab off the rank.
It's actually funny that we actually are in Priceline pharmacies. So there are pharmacy owners of Priceline pharmacies that are getting our product through Symbion rather than API. So that's an interesting side note.
Yeah, you can buy it in Priceline, but we want to run a head office retail campaign with them. Yeah. So we've obviously been speaking to Mecca, Adore Beauty, and Whole Foods out of the US, and we've got lots of interest so far. The blue sky opportunity, which we haven't really spoke about, is obviously the menopause market. So Rick has kicked off a menopause clinical trial, which we've started. And how long will that go?
We'll get the results by the end of the year.
Yep. Yeah. And so this is a $600 billion opportunity, the menopause market. We call this is the sleeping giant, and we believe that the menopause market will probably be our menopause products will probably in the next few years sell through stronger.
Yeah. So the confidence that we have there is that there's quite a few women already using our menopause product. That we've got anecdotal evidence, and we've run a recent observational trial in preparation for the clinical trial, and the figures are looking very, very encouraging indeed.
Thanks, Rick.
Yes.
Early traction. Okay, so early revenue. So March quarter, I think we did 17 grand in sales. We're on track this quarter to do 250,000. We've sold 20,000 units in 12 months with 700 monthly subscribers, and obviously growing our national footprint, even though we've just kicked off pharmacy from December. Product market potential, just to sort of give you an idea about where our product sits in the health pain market. So there's a product called PEA. PEA is also, they call it a natural product. It's derived from foods such as eggs and peanuts. It's made in a lab. However, it is another natural COX-2 inhibitor, and it works as an anti-inflammatory. They use it for brain pain or nerve pain. And this can be made by hundreds of manufacturers globally, and it's a $33 billion market. So we have a very, very comparable product, if not better, with other actions. And we're the only ones in the world with the IP for this market. So yeah, just to show you the comparison of the market, of the potential. Revenue forecast. Okay, so we're on track for 1.3 million this year. Probably some key information, key numbers would be the retail price. So we sell the product, our blister product, the 1 month blister for $39. That costs us under $4 to produce. So amazing GP. We wholesale that product for 25, so very strong GP even on wholesale. We currently have over $3 million of product on shelf, and $20 million worth of pre-processed raw material. So inventory is full, ready to grow. There's some other peer comparisons on there. I'll leave that with you to peruse. But you know, when we're looking at comparable products in the market or companies, you know, there's a ton of them. Just before we finish up, you know, reasons to invest. You know, we're a purpose-driven business, and we want to change the lives of millions of women. This is the world-first treatment for period pain, PMS, and menopause. There's a global market of 3 billion potential users. So there's no roof on this business. It's clinically proven now and market tested, and we could only say that from a month ago.
Okay.
So you know, Rick's been working on this project for 12 years. And you know, so now we can say we're clinically proven, and with more trials on the way. We've got strong IP, first and only mover advantage in this space. So we're the only natural pain relief product on the market. We're TGA approved. That TGA process was very stringent. Obviously, the TGA is one of the most heavily stringent regulatory bodies on the planet. It's the gold standard, actually. There is a story. So Rick, you know, did all the research years ago. Found, you know, we acquired the plantation, did the research with all these universities, did all the mass spectrometer testing, tested the product, took it to the TGA, found a harvesting tech to do it commercially, took it to the TGA and said, I want to, you know, list this botanical so we can change lives. And the TGA said, Rick, we want, you know, nice evidence, but we want 75 years of documented evidence of continued safe use. So Rick and a couple of TGA consultants went back to the drawing board. Took them sort of 5-6 years to scour the globe to get evidence from museums, and in Western herbal medicine, they got some evidence from
Oxford University. Universities around Europe, mainly.
Europe and Denmark. Yeah. And then we've got some traditional evidence, interestingly enough, some traditional evidence from the Prime Minister of Madagascar, who was a pharmacist. And they gave Rick access to some ancient pharmacopoeias, which were traditional evidence. So we have this dossier now of 120 years of safe use, plus a strong clinical trial that's very safe, very safe. So in the clinical trial, we tripled the dose, the recommended dose that's on the box, and we did full bloods, including liver and renal, and there was nothing outside the normal. So very, very safe.
And it was a chronic study as well. So it was continuous, as Owen said, 3 times the dosage, for an average of 28 days continuous usage.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have control of supply chain. So from plantation to market, we control the plantation, the harvesting, the pre-processing, and then obviously selling it into market. There's impressive gross margins, strong market traction early. We've proven our D2C, and we've established a B2B market. We also are looking at the licensing market, and we're also talking to a couple of customers about private labels. In the appendix, we have some competitor analysis, if you're interested to peruse, about period pain and menopause, and obviously some of the finest scientific minds in the country has helped us create what we have today. Thanks for listening. I've left plenty of time for questions. Thanks, Tim.
Very good. No, thank you very much, Owen and Rick. That was a brilliant introduction to what is a really exciting company, and one which is solving a gigantic unmet need with a really important mission. So, yeah, look, thanks very much to our attendees for the questions that are coming through. So, so let's dive straight in and just examine the company in more detail. As a reminder to all attendees, anybody with questions for Owen and Rick, just please pop them into the Q&A panel at the bottom of your Zoom app, and we can address them that way. So you did mention just before, Owen, that that you've got the first mover advantage in this space as a natural plant-based pain relief product. But I guess to delve into that, can you give us a sense of the competitive landscape and what gives Bioactive the capability to win business and shelf space across the different sales channels, including the pharmacy sector?
Yeah, good question. So obviously I've been involved in business for a couple of years now, and my early research when I jumped on board the team was to actually go out there and do the research and look at competitors in the space. It's probably confronting to say this, but if men had period pain, I'd say if you walked into a pharmacy, the aisle would be full. You'd have many options on there, but legacy has had it that this is a very underserviced industry, and that women have historically been underserved here. So if you walk into a pharmacy or if you Google online for period pain relief, you'd be left with options like ibuprofen and a handful of non-steroidal anti-inflammatories. There is some natural products on the market that have that sort of claim to help with period pain, but they're just vitamins that are added together that don't have clinical studies that back them. Yeah, so it's
And if you have a look at the market comparison slide in the appendix, you'll see some of those competitor products. The ones in the drug range, so like Ponstan and Naprogesic, are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and they are very toxic on the gut lining. And if you can imagine, some of the women, a lot of our customers have endometriosis, have other conditions that affect them all through the month. So taking drugs like that on a regular basis is extremely dangerous, as I mentioned before. So, what we have is a combination, as Owen said, of natural anti-inflammatories, antioxidants, and prebiotics. So it's very gentle on the stomach. So it actually provides a totally different type of pain relief as well. So, yeah.
As Rick mentioned, the feedback from our customers, they have these complex disorders, conditions such as endometriosis, which is 1 in 7 now in Australia, adenomyosis, and polycystic ovarian syndrome. Yep.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the detail, and as you say, it's a unique solution, and really the clinical trial results as well as the testimonials on your website from customers, they really they speak for themselves. So just onto some more questions. The manufacturing process, you mentioned earlier that you've got full control of the supply chain from end to end. So are you able to give us just a little bit more detail on that manufacturing process up there in northwestern WA, and what underpins your defensible competitive advantage in that part of the business?
Yeah, look, I'll answer that one. So one of the things when we were first researching this is how can we get the bark off the tree without killing the tree? But then how do we make that a commercially viable situation? So the bark on these trees is extremely hard and it's full of water. So, it was a challenge, not only inventing machinery that can harvest the bark, but we have to do that very quickly because of the tropical nature of where the trees are grown. So I won't give away any of our IP, but essentially we've discovered a way to take the bark off the tree in a very fast way, in a very rapid way. We prepare that bark, and then it comes down to Perth to then be processed by another machine that we had to put together from scratch, essentially. To then, our biochemists came to me early on and said, Rick, if you can get this into a very fine micron type of dust, it'll get, the theory was that it'll be fast acting. And that's what we've achieved. So we had to build the machinery to actually achieve that goal. So, we've done all those things over a period of 10 years. Yeah.
Very good. It's certainly a unique sort of runway that's taken you to this point in terms of putting it together. So just moving it on to the business model, and I guess beyond that, the investment opportunity. Are you able to talk about the scalability of your model and what your go-to-market plan is anticipating in terms of market penetration, what the recurring component of the revenue looks like, and how the margin structure might look when everything's up at scale?
Yep. So yeah, the go-to-market strategy for us was to build a template in Australia. So Australia, a highly regulated market, to see if we could get the product up off the ground, market via direct to consumer through online platforms such as your social media. So we're setting up that template in Australia for the direct to consumer, and we have I think we've acquired over 700 monthly subscribers early on, which is great. Then we've also now entered the pharmacy market in Australia, and we're fast approaching 500 stores and working with big retail brands. The plan is to map that out over the next 6 to 8 months and be in half of those stores, which is 3,000 stores around Australia. And then copy that template in America. So we've already been speaking to Whole Foods, Sprouts, I think mentioned before GNC. We're in conversations with them. The model in America is slightly different. However, they want to retail the Hey Sister product. However, they want to private label their label next to it. So early negotiations there, but very similar launch into market to how we've done it in Australia successfully.
And the online play as well in the US.
Yeah.
And because our market sweet spot, I suppose, is women between the ages of 25 and 35, 25 and 40. They're the largest online buyers. So that's why it's had a really quick uptake. And that should be the same globally, because it is a global problem.
We're in early negotiations at the moment with two companies, one out of India and one out of the Philippines for a distribution license. But early negotiations. Again, they rely on FDA approval, which we're FDA ready. I hope to have that done and dusted end of this calendar year.
Yeah.
Excellent. No, there's lots to look forward to for the company. Sorry.
Yeah. Again, Tim, I just want to reinforce the regulatory approval that we have in Australia is the gold standard globally. So this dossier that we have is an international dossier that we will use in other jurisdictions. So it's not as if we've got to redo it every time. And in fact, in the US, under the FDA NDI, new dietary ingredient, it's just notification. It's not even approvals that we need. So that's an ability for us to fast track that.
With the support of the recent clinical trial makes that easy.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. No, it's a really important point you mentioned, Rick, that because I think often investors in healthcare products, they'll be very concerned about sort of how difficult it is to navigate that FDA pathway. But it's, as you said from the outset, this is TGA approved and it is legitimately FDA ready, to the extent that, that's, you've just spelt out sort of what the, I guess, approval process will look like, rather than sort of, going through different phases.
And I think there's a lot of focus there on Hey Sister and how we're expanding Hey Sister. But, that is, a CPG brand within Bioactive Natural Health. There has been some early conversations about licensing Caprogesic.
To pharmaceutical companies, in a similar way that drugs are also developed by research companies and then licensed to big pharmas who have all the distribution points globally. So that opportunity, especially with the clinical trial results that we have and the ongoing clinical trial program that we have, it really opens the door for that. One of the market examples is a chemotherapy drug called Taxol, which is also derived from a plant directly, and that's been extremely successful, unlike a drug. So there is a precedent for this in the market in terms of licensing to big pharma.
Excellent. No, it's good to know that there's a clear path forward to value creation, and it's a good reminder that this isn't just the Hey Sister story. This is the Bioactive story, whereby there's several potential value catalysts beyond the CPG brand, as you say. So
one of the other things that we didn't mention before was that we have a very long pipeline. As you can imagine, the basis of our discovery is strong anti-inflammatory, very high antioxidant, and prebiotics. So there are a number of people actually using this for other applications. for example, arthritis and things like that. The reason we chose period pain market was because it is literally an empty market and a huge global market. So that's our first foray, I guess, into a suite of products that can just go for lots of inflammation type disorders.
Absolutely. No, it's an exciting path ahead, Jen. So that's all the time we've got for questions for now. So look, on behalf of the company, I'd really like to thank everyone for tuning in to the NWR Virtual Healthcare Conference. Really appreciate everyone joining us today and for your interest in bioactive natural health. If you do have a question that we didn't answer today, please reach out management will be happy to discuss further offline. We'll also make the video recording of this session available online at the NWR YouTube channel. And of course, as Owen and Rick mentioned, the company is currently in the process of raising $2 million of Series A capital. So anybody with interest in that capital raise should reach out to the company or to us at NWR. In terms of the virtual healthcare conference, we'll be back with the next session at 1:20 p.m. Aussie Eastern Time with a presentation from ASX-listed Vitrify Life Sciences. But in terms of bioactive natural health, we're really looking forward to the opportunity to talk to you again. And Owen, I might pass back to you now for any closing comments.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Appreciate everyone's time. And yeah, if anyone's interested, please reach out to Tim and we'll be in touch.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity, everyone.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Owen. Thanks, everyone. We'll chat to you again soon. Cheers.
Bye.